Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Albaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Albaugh.
Good morning across the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide in the Civic Media app. I'm Todd Albaugh. It is Monday, April 17th, 2023. Glad to have you along on hour number 2 of the show, along with our producer, engineer, Mr. Aaron Zommers. I was looking at somebody I just read, an author, his name is Eric, so I got Eric and Aaron confused. Aaron Zommers is his name, and we welcome you into hour number 2. The snow has stopped, Aaron, in case you, I guess you have the closed-circuit television camera into the parking lot, but...
However, I was not looking at it, so thanks for the heads up.
The snow is ended, or at least tapered off here in the city of Madison proper, where we are at. And it looks like it will be tapering off across the state of Wisconsin. Again, checking the road conditions around the state right now. Starting out with southwest Wisconsin near Richland Center, still looks like Highway 80 north and south has slippery stretches this morning. Highway 14 east and west slippery as well, and pretty much across the entire region. Highway 58 north and south, say from Casanova down to Sextonville, and a little bit of 154 is actually snow covered this morning, according to the Wisconsin DOT. Heading north up to the Wausau area this morning, Highway 29 to the east of Wausau has slippery stretches. Highway 29 to the west, at least for a while, is in good winter driving condition. Highway 51 north of Wausau, slippery stretches in spots. And then over at Amory, most of the roads around the Amory area are in good winter driving condition until you get up to places like Rice Lake or Spooner, a little bit further north and up to Hayward, where our new station is at up there. Some slippery stretches in northern Wisconsin. Otherwise, around the Amory area, south of Rice Lake and near Amory, pretty much in good winter driving conditions this morning. Taking a look at the weather forecast, according to the National Weather Service this morning around the state of Wisconsin. First of all, in the southwest, Richland Center, WRCE News from the center. The winter storm warning that was in effect has now expired for that area. Looking for a total accumulation of 1 to 3 inches before it completely tapers off today. High today of 37 degrees. So may get a little bit of melting in the RC. For tonight, mostly clear. Blustery wind conditions, a low of 22. And then for tomorrow, Tuesday, sunny skies, a high near 49 for tomorrow in Richland Center. In Wausau, WXCO, Bull Falls Radio this morning. Winter storm warning in effect until 1 p.m. this afternoon. Maybe an inch of snow possible. That kind of mixture, the blowing snow, that's kind of what makes things nasty up there in Wausau this morning. High today in Wausau of 34. For tonight, a low of 15. Snow tapering off. And then for tomorrow, for Tuesday, already jumping ahead of the weekend. For tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high of 45 in Wausau. Over in Amory, WLAK, Lake Air Radio Land. It is going to be a chance of a flurry in the air today. No real accumulation to speak of. A high of 39 degrees at Amory. For tonight, decreasing clouds, a low of 23. For tomorrow, Tuesday, sunny skies and a high of 48 degrees in Amory. So there's your driving and weather forecast conditions for you on a Monday, the 17th of April, 2023. Taking a look at news headlines this morning, the new SpaceX Starship big launch was set for this morning. It was delayed due to safety and technical difficulties. No humans were on board. This was simply a non-manned voyage, an attempt to get basically almost around the globe and then have the spacecraft fall into the waters off the coast of Hawaii. But the launch was delayed, got down to T-minus 40 seconds. And SpaceX decided to scrub the launch this morning, apparently going to wait about 48 hours and try to pick that back up. In Alabama over the weekend, as we've been telling you in the first hour, 4 people are dead, including a star football player who was on his way, would have been, to D1 college football. His mother also shot, but so far has survived. 3 others, including the standout football player, were killed. Dozens injured at a Sweet 16 birthday party in Alabama over the weekend. No shooter is in custody, and police are not releasing any suspects' names at this hour. Also in Kansas City, a teenager shot by a homeowner after going to a wrong house to pick up his siblings. The 16-year-old was told by his parents to go to 115th Terrace. He made a mistake, got it mixed up, went to 115th Street. Rang the doorbell. Guy came to the door, opened it, and shot the kid in the hospital right now. Expected to recover, but severe injuries. Elsewhere this morning, making news headlines. Fox defamation trial. The start delayed this morning by the judge. Rupert Murdoch can breathe easy for at least one more day. The judge overseeing the much scrutinized defamation trial brought against Fox News and its parent Fox Corp has delayed its start by a day, according to a statement issued by Delaware's Superior Court, where the case is being heard. The decision is sure to raise speculation that the two sides may be seeking a settlement. Quote, the court has decided to continue the start of the trial, including jury selection, until tomorrow, Tuesday, April 18th at 9 a.m. I will make such an announcement this morning in courtroom 7E, according to Judge Eric Davis. He said last night in a note. This is significant. Pardon me. This is significant. Welcome to the cold and allergy season, folks. Sorry, my sneezing is a bit out of control. It's significant because we'll see what happens, whether or not the truth actually comes out in court. Back with more on that. Trump ads, DeSantis ads. This is the All Ball Show in Civic Media.
Wasted on Sunday, erase you on Monday.
Welcome back to the All Ball Show. It's now 9:15 on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along on a Monday here. Take a look at this story this morning. Another news you need to know. The Dominion trial against the Fox News Corp has been postponed at least for tomorrow. The reason this is important is I believe I'm over my sneezing fit before the break.
Speaking of sneezing fit, though, I just want to clarify the reason I'm playing a song with lyrics wasted on Sunday and stuff like that is because it is the song Allergic by Post Malone.
Oh, very good. Nice. I'm allergic to something. I'm not sure what it is. My teachers used to probably say I'm allergic to homework. I don't know. I'm not sure. But in any event, this Dominion lawsuit against Fox being delayed. And it's important because it appears now that Dominion and Fox are trying to come to an out-of-court settlement. So Fox News, Rupert Murdoch basically opening up the checkbook. Dominion's looking at them and saying, just keep writing zeros until we tell you to stop. It's going to be interesting to see. Because the Dominion lawyers, I'm not so sure that they're really worried about democracy or the truth coming out. They're worried about getting their client the most money they possibly can, and therefore the attorney's getting the most money they possibly can. As Jack O'Neill likes to say, it all comes down to the dollar sign. So the attorneys for Dominion, and again, let me just stop in case you are not familiar with this lawsuit. The Dominion company makes these voting machines, some voting machines, not all. And they were the subject of the 2020 election after Trump lost the election and falsely claimed it was rigged. Out of thin air, he chose to say that some of these Dominion voting machines had been rigged and had faults with them where they could be votes added or subtracted after the election. Untrue. But he never backed down, and Fox News reported this continually. And what Dominion is alleging against Fox News was not just that they reported something that wasn't true, but that there was malice involved. As our friend Matt Flynn, who is an attorney, you can listen to the Matt Flynn Direct program every afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on the Civic Media Radio Network. Matt Flynn likes to help us understand malice as legal. The legal term is to know that something isn't true and yet to continue to report it and do it anyway. That's malice from a legal sense. So Dominion's voting machines are alleging that Fox News had malice. They knew it wasn't true, and some of these emails and texts and conversations have already been leaked out, that Fox News hosts, including Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, they knew it wasn't true. Behind closed doors, off cameras, they admitted Trump lost the election. They knew Giuliani was an idiot. They knew that the lies were lies, but they were very concerned that if they said the truth, that their base that listens to them would abandon them. It would be lower ratings, which would be lower money for the hosts. And again, Jack O'Neill likes to say, it all comes down to the dollar sign. So we can't do that, they said. So they kept perpetrating, kept repeating these lies that Dominion's voting machines were bad, and that Trump actually won the election, and that the election was rigged. And, of course, all of that was proven false. It's been proven time and again by conservatives, liberals, non-biased folks, reporters, journalists, election officials, the courts. All have proven that the 2020 election was fair and was one of the most safe elections in history, that Joe Biden won the election, that Donald Trump lost the election. That is proven. That is fact. Indisputable. But yet Fox kept telling this lie. So Dominion sued him. Said, your lies have cost us money because people don't want to use our voting machines anymore because they think there's something wrong with them, which there is not. So it's a pretty good case, according to Matt Flynn and other people that are attorneys and know the law. So now they're getting ready to go to trial. And so what's happening is the lawyers for the Dominion folks are negotiating because the Fox News, the Fox Corp people have now, this is a sign clearly that the Fox News people have come to Dominion and said, okay, we played this out long enough. Now it's coming down to brass tacks. Yeah, we don't want all this actually coming out in a trial. We don't want people to know everything that you have on us. Because it's all going to come out in trial. The lie that is Fox News will be exposed in trial. And the Fox News folks, Robert Murdoch and their attorneys, are saying, look, we can't have that. That's going to be harmful to us. So what they're doing is Fox News is going to Dominion and saying, let's work this out without going to court. How much is it going to take to pay you off? How much do you want to settle for? And the Dominion attorneys are advising their client and saying, look, based on past cases and based on the evidence we have and the jury that we have now seated, I'm not sure if the jury's been seated or not. But in any event, the jury that we think we can get, here's what we believe. We think we can get a conviction. They have to be confident of that to advise their client, Dominion, that they can get a conviction. So they've got to tell their client, look, because of this, this, and this, we're confident we can get a conviction. And then if we get a conviction, we think that based on precedent and the preponderance of evidence, that we could get between this and this in a settlement, or not in a settlement, in a verdict. And so then the Dominion people have to look at that number and say, okay, well, if we go through the whole trial, you think we can get this amount of money at the end of the day. And if we settle, we could get this amount of money. So maybe Fox News is throwing a bunch of money, as much or more that they think they could get in an actual trial settlement verdict. So the Dominion folks are going to say, why do we want to go through all that? We could actually make more money by not going to trial. Or maybe it's a number that they think is close. And they think, well, rather than dragging this out several weeks and paying more attorney's fees, maybe we'll come up $5 million less than if we go through the trial, but at the end of the day, it's a wash because we don't have to pay the attorneys so much. I mean, these are probably attorneys that make several $100s an hour, if not more. So they got to weigh all this out, you see. The real loser if there's a settlement without a trial is us. Is the general public, democracy. Because if there's a settlement out of trial, we will not be able to see all the evidence that Dominion has against Fox. We've seen some, it's been leaked out, but I'll guarantee you there's a lot more. And both sides have it. See, contrary to how television and the movies like to write things most of the time, rarely is there a case in actual law, the smoking gun where, the last minute, the double doors in the back courtroom open and, Your Honor, we have a last minute witness. That's rarely how it actually works in a courtroom. Because according to the law, if one side has a piece of evidence, they're required to share that with the other side. Unless, again, there's something absolutely bizarrely out of the ordinary. Which, if that happens, then the judge has to rule whether that piece of evidence is even admissible in court under the law. Because it could constitute an unfair trial for the defendant. The judge might say, you can't. Yeah, that's sexy, and I get why you want to bring it in here. But you're giving the defendant you're putting the defendant at a disadvantage. You're abridging their constitutional rights to a fair trial. I'm not going to allow it. So to get evidence into a trial, the attorneys have to give the other side a heads up and say, look, this is what we're bringing. This is what we're going to go to the jury with. So both sides have most of the information already. Fox News knows what Dominion has on them. And that's why they're delaying this and trying to work it out of court. But if it happens, like I said, we'll never know. Maybe somebody will leak it. But we may never know all the facts that Dominion has on Fox. And that'd be a shame. Because more people need to realize, and it needs to be exposed even further, what Fox News is. Which, for the most part, is simply an entertainment entity. A right-wing, conservative entertainment entity. About the only reporting going on at Fox, any journalism or any credible things at Fox, are their polling people. So far, according to even legit pollers across the nation, the polling people at Fox are pretty good. And that's why Trump was so ticked off at his team when they called the election on election night 2020 for Arizona for Joe Biden. They knew. They were legit. Called it for Joe Biden. Had it right. So the Fox News polls and the Fox News, election decision desk who calls the elections, they're pretty good. They're pretty accurate. The rest of the thing is just a showpiece. No actual journalism. They have a clear, hard-line, biased agenda to make money. They just want to keep people revved up, particularly their base, in order to make money. Give us a call. Let us know what you think. 715-388-7155. Again, 715-388-7155 if you want to join the conversation this morning on Fox News and Dominion. You want this trial to move forward? You want to know what's in the envelopes, as they say? I do. Would love to know. 715-388-7155. Again, area code 715-388-7155. Going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more. We'll kind of delve back into this little by little. But I want to bring you a couple of audios. Unfortunately, we're not on television. I guess we're on Facebook and Twitter. You can see a video feed of us. But you're not going to be able to see the video of this. But I'm going to bring you the audio of two new political ads that started over the weekend. One by the Trumpster attacking Ron DeSantis. And the other by Ron DeSantis attacking Donald Trump. The infighting has already started in the Republican Party. They don't know where they're going. They're misbehaving badly. And we'll have it for you after this on the Civic Media Radio Network. Welcome back to the Town Hall Show. It is now 9:33 on a Monday, April 17th, 2023. What was that unholy music we were listening to?
That is Pudding Time by Primus.
Primus. If you had asked me, Todd, if you ever get a chance to do a radio show again, will you be putting Primus on your show? I would have said no. That would not have been on my bingo card. But Primus has been now played on the show, and it's called Pudding Time.
I made an executive decision, I guess, for better or for worse.
Primus. But you admitted they're not the best band.
That's not what I said. I said they're weird. I didn't say they're bad.
All right, weird. All right, that's fine. Pudding. Well, I do admire the fact that they chose a song title called Pudding Time. If you needed to have a soundtrack for a person eating pudding with their fingers, I guess that would be it. Some pudding time. Very appropriate, as it turns out, Mr. Sommer's music, because I want to talk a little bit about the esteemed, as I say with tongue firmly planted in cheek, esteemed governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, who is on the verge, allegedly, of announcing a run for the presidency of the United States, wants to be the anti-Trump Trump, the alternative for the Republican Party, and many in the Republican Party are praying that he can do so. Don't want to have Trump, among them Paul Ryan, former Wisconsin congressman and Speaker of the House, who said here in Wisconsin a month or so ago, if Donald J. Trump is the Republican nominee in 2024, Paul Ryan says he wants no part in the Republican National Convention to be held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Said he won't be there, has, quote, no interest in being there. A lot of people in the Republican Party say, look, we've moved on. We're not Trump people anymore. Trump isn't our guy, but yet he won't go away. He has announced his candidacy for 2024, raised $5 million in 1 week after he got indicted in New York. $5 million in a week. Not a bad haul for the Trumpster. And a lot of people know that if Trump is the nominee, Republicans are up crap creek. But they don't know how to stop him because, as Trygve Olsen has pointed out on this program before for the Lincoln Project, Trump has a base of somewhere between 25 and 35% of the Republican Party who will vote for him no matter what. And when you get into a fractured Republican presidential primary, you can win with 30%, like he did in 2016. So a lot of people are hoping that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, the gay-hating, book-hating, education-hating governor of Florida, boy, that's what our country needs. Disney-hating. What president hates Walt Disney? Never heard of that. Anyway, Ron DeSantis may have a problem. Republicans may have a problem, and it has really nothing to do with his politics. It has to do with the fact that he just is uncouth. He is like, I don't know, raised by cave people? I don't know. Apparently, recently, he was traveling in a plane, I believe, to an event, and someone served him, a airline attendant or whatever, served him a pudding cup. You know, like a Jell-O pudding cup? And he opened it up, and he used his 3 middle fingers to scoop out the pudding and eat the pudding with his fingers. I'm not making this up. This is not a joke. Plenty of spoons around, but the governor of Florida uses his 3 middle fingers to eat the pudding. Now, I know Crudy and Dom talked about this a couple, 3 weeks ago on their show when it first happened. I avoided it for a while. I'm just like, I'm not talking about a guy eating pudding with his fingers. But Crudy had a good point. Crudy said, look, if I don't have a spoon, I'm just going to open the top and kind of like squeeze it from the bottom like a popsicle and kind of eat it like that. But
Right,
no,
or what I've done before with applesauce cups, if I didn't have a spoon, it's slightly different because the foil covers on those are a little different. With those, you can fold the cover and like make it into a spoon.
Yeah.
And with pudding, that's probably a little bit harder, but you could still do it if you didn't have a spoon, which...
I have to believe the governor of Florida on a plane had access to a spoon. And now over the weekend, there's reporting that apparently people close to the governor of Florida are reticent. They don't ever want to put the governor in a situation where he goes and eats in public because apparently this is not a one-off. The guy eats with his hands all the time. And I'm not talking like potato chips or a hot dog or pizza. I'm talking about like a steak or pancakes. He basically eats like a 3-year-old child.
Sometimes eating pancakes with your hands is fun, though.
I've never eaten a pancake with my hands.
I usually eat pancakes with my hands. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Like, I eat normally...
With syrup?
Well, I don't douse my pancakes in syrup. I don't like a lot of it, so I it's like a chip and dip kind of, but it's big and floppy.
All right.
That's definitely my weirdest eating habit.
All right, we've learned something about Aaron Zomers this morning. He eats pancakes with his hands.
I swear, not in public though.
Well, okay, that's the point. Apparently now, according to staffers of Ron DeSantis, they don't ever want to. Don't ever want to put him in a situation where he's eating in public, because believe me, as someone who's spent 30 years of politics, eating is a huge part of politics. You go to county fairs, you got to have the local, whatever it is, the cream puff, the hot dog, the elephant ear, the handmade lemonade. I'm not sure what the delicacy is at the Black Squirrel Festival in Wilton. When I was running for assembly the first time, Wilton in Monroe County, kind of east of La Crosse, is in that district, was. Wilton has something called the Black Squirrel Festival, and I kid you not, they have a proliferation of black squirrels, and so they have a Black Squirrel Festival. Actually, it was a pretty nice event. That was probably one of the oddest names of a festival I went to. But eating is a part of politics. You go to pancake breakfast, you go to chicken feeds, you go to steak feeds. You're expected as a presidential or any candidate for public office to go to these events where people are eating, and you are expected to eat right along with them. But apparently in Florida, the DeSantis people are so paranoid that they never want to put him in a situation where he eats because he's constantly eating with his hands. So the Trump people this weekend, and I hate to give them credit, but it's a pretty good ad. The Trump people have put together an ad called Pudding, in which they have an actor that kind of looks like a slimmed-down DeSantis, and he's eating pudding out of a cup with his fingers during this ad, while they're also talking about issues where Trump and DeSantis allegedly differ. It's not going to be as good on radio, but we're going to play it for you anyway. Here is the Pudding ad by the Trump people against Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding. DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements, like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age. Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
I like the tagline. And somebody get this man a spoon.
And the thing that really gets me, first of all, the visuals are exactly what you expect. You know, it's a guy in a suit walking, messily eating pudding with his fingers, and it's uncomfortably close to his face.
Yes.
Exactly what you think. But also, all the stuff he's criticizing DeSantis for is stuff that people like Ron Johnson do, and he's not crapping on Ron Johnson.
Well, because Ron Johnson's not running against him.
Yeah.
He'll endorse him.
I understand it. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's just to make him look bad. But he would do the same things in a heartbeat to make an extra nickel.
There's no common sense in politics today, Aaron.
I know, but it's still frustrating.
There's no telling the truth.
It's still frustrating.
I get it. 100% I get it. But you look it up on YouTube or whatever, the pudding ad. They just Google pudding ad. I'm sure it'll come up. It's really actually quite funny. So then the DeSantis people said, we can't let that lie. We gotta create go after Trump, saying, why is he going after the government? Because people love, he passed the Don't Say Gay bill, and he's attacking Disney World because they're pro marriage equality and pro trans rights. This is a great governor of Florida, banning books that talk about equality. That's exactly where we want to take the country in 2023, right? Why is Trump attacking that? So it's not nearly as good, but here's the DeSantis response to Trump.
Donald Trump is being attacked by a Democrat prosecutor in New York. So why is he spending millions attacking the Republican governor of Florida? Trump's stealing pages from the Biden-Pelosi playbook, repeating lies about Social Security. Here's the truth from Governor Ron DeSantis.
We're not going to mess with Social Security as Republicans.
What did Trump say?
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. We will take a look at that.
Trump should fight Democrats, not lie about Governor DeSantis. What happened to Donald Trump? Never Back Down Inc. is responsible for the contents of this ad.
So there's the DeSantis people basically trying to say that he's to compare him to Biden and Pelosi, which his base is never going to, believe. The only thing that, using those words, they're both basically attacking each other and saying that they both want to cut Social Security, which is essentially true.
Right. Both of them have
right.
sources for that.
Right.
The pudding one just didn't play the audio, but on screen it had sources.
Right. So they both Republicans, DeSantis and Trump, want to cut Social Security and Medicaid, but they're accusing the other one of lying about them. See, I don't think if I were at least the Trump one was creative. It made you laugh, and it was just really dirty. And it's simply a guy who used to write political ads. I appreciate that. And so if I had been writing the DeSantis ad, they should have spent more time on the reason that, the New York judge is coming after Trump. They let Trump off easy. I would have had a hooker. I would have had a porn star. Make it more sultry, more sleazy. Grab use the line that Trump, grab him by the hoo-hoo. I won't say the word, but, I would have used that. I would have gone right after Trump and connected right to porn. Then I would have had the cut from Stormy Daniels when she went on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy is brilliant. Look this up on YouTube. Jimmy Kimmel and his producers, whoever did, were brilliant. They had a series that they put on Kimmel's desk of carrots that were in various sizes, shapes, and lengths.
Oh, no.
And they asked Stormy Daniels to pick the carrot sculpture that most reminded her of Donald Trump. And let me tell you, the choice she picked was not flattering at all. It was a brilliant bit. So I would have used that. I would have used that cut if I were Ron DeSantis in that. I would have been much dirtier if I would have been the DeSantis people. But, that's just me. The point is, you say, well, geez, Todd, this is, mildly entertaining, or maybe not. Why does it matter? Here's why it matters. Because here we are at April 17th, 2023. The primary elections are less than a year away for the Republican primaries in Iowa and New Hampshire. And the Republicans could not be more disjointed. They could not be, and it's not just across America, it's here in Wisconsin. And the current Republican chairman of Wisconsin, Brian Schimming, was on the Sunday talk shows this weekend, looking very dapper, sounding very mainstream. But as someone who's known Brian Schimming for years, I could just tell the guy is like, holy crap, what are we going to do? Because the money people in Wisconsin, the business side, who gives a lot of the money, they are not happy with the governor's race. They're not happy with the Supreme Court race. And they are looking at the current Republican Party being led by Brian Schimming and Mark Jefferson and saying, you boys aren't getting it done. and show us a plan, because you're running on issues that we're looking at our independent polling, not just your polling. These business people have their own polling, and they're saying abortion is a loser. Gerrymandering is a loser. Being against democracy is a loser. So why are you guys continuing to run on this? We're not going to keep giving you money in Wisconsin if you don't get your act together. But they can't do it because they'll lose the Trump base. They're in a quandary. Back with more after this. This is the Todd Albaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding and bring it out here.
Please bring a spoon for Governor DeSantis. Give the man a spoon. He eats pudding with his fingers. Our friend Jeff Perry has checked in this morning, Mr. Zommers, knower of all things music. He actually is apparently an expert on the group Primus. And apparently they also have another song called Sailing the Seas of Cheese.
They sure do. They've got a lot of interesting songs. I like Primus.
Do you really?
You got to be in the right mindset for it.
Well, I suppose so.
When you are, it's an eclectic group of guys who they know what they want to do, and what they want to do is definitely not for everybody.
Another listener has checked in this morning when it comes to the subject of festivals. And see, this is why I love Wisconsin, because one of the many reasons. There's some great, so I talked about the Wilton having the Black Squirrel Festival. One of our listeners this morning checking in and reminding me that a couple of years ago in Yuba, you ever been to Yuba?
No.
Well, you're missing something. Yuba is in Richland County. It's just a stone's throw from Bloom City. Yuba held a testicle festival a couple of years ago.
Interesting.
It takes a lot of balls to put something together like that. But anyway, that's exactly what I know. The testicle festival, which, I mean, that's a big delicatessen. Like goat testicles, and they deep fry them. And
bowls and everything.
It's
Rocky Mountain oysters, if you will.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. Not bad at all, actually. But anyway, all these great festivals. Do you have a great festival that you would like to share with us? Give us a call, 715-388-7155. Again, area code 715-388-7155. What is your best festival in Wisconsin? Small town, could be unique, could just be a thing in the city, could be a county thing, could be a regional thing. What is your best festival? 715-388-7155. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Give us a call, 715-388-7155 on your favorite festival in the state of Wisconsin. Anyway, I want to finish up this thought that we were talking about here before the break, and how this pudding ads and the Ron DeSantis ads going back and forth between Trump and DeSantis, how it actually plays into things here in Wisconsin. Because there is this division in the Republican Party, particularly amongst the party leadership, who is not stupid, who can read poll numbers, can see trends, they realize where this thing is going. And now that Janet Protasiewicz will be on the court come August, most likely, there's going to be a lawsuit very quickly thereafter on these gerrymandered maps. And there's a good chance that the maps in Wisconsin could change. I don't think it's going to be dramatic, because if it was overly dramatic changes, then you're going to have a problem going to the U.S. Supreme Court with it. But I think if there's small to moderate changes, things that can be justified in a court, I think the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, is going to have an awful hard time overturning that based on other decisions they found in favor of Republicans or Republican-leaning maps across the U.S. So there's at least a decent chance we may get new maps come the first of next year for legislators to run in. That's going to even the playing field at least a little bit. But, of course, you have the U.S. presidential election next year, which is the big one, of course. And you've got a race for U.S. Senate, which current incumbent U.S. Senator, Democrat Tammy Baldwin, has said she is running for re-election. So far, no Republicans are getting on board to challenge her. Part of the reason is that people like Mike Gallagher up in Green Bay, again, not a dumb individual in terms of political, is looking at the landscape and saying, why do I want to give up a newly minted seat in the U.S. House of Representatives where I'm in the majority, high profile with the China Committee? Why do I want to give that up to take on Tammy Baldwin when the state Republican Party can't even get their act together? Phone lines are ringing. You can join the party as well. 715-388-7155. Again, 715-388-7155. We go to the phones. Tom in Richland County. Tom, thanks for calling in. What say you?
I got a quickie about the gerrymandering. One thing we got going here is the 50th covers parts of 4 counties, and Richland County has either 3 or 4, I think 4 now still, seats crossing into it. So the local party has to deal, only small parts of their population can get behind any one candidate, and the money gets split up and all the time and energy. And that's just part of the thing of dividing this up into little pieces to make us ineffective. So you got to know 4 county parties, but each of them only has some time to spend with you. So that's a drag about gerrymandering, too.
No, I think...
Thanks for all your hard work, guys.
Yep, thank you, Tom. Always appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Tom Crofton in Richland County. You can be like Tom. Give us a call, 715-388-7155. Again, area code 715-388-7155. I believe, and Tom or someone else could correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Richland County is now in 3 assembly districts. It is the 49th, which is Travis Tranel on the western side of the county. It is Tony Kurtz, including Richland Center, and points kind of north and east, including Ithaca, I believe. And then in the southeast quarter, 2, 3, or 4 townships with Todd Novak of Dodgeville, all Republicans. So I believe it used to be, Tom's right, Tom Crofton is right, it used to be those 3 seats plus the 96th assembly seat was in the northwest quarter, Bloom Township, Viola. But I believe now it's down to 3. But Tom's right. 3 or 4 doesn't matter. The part of this packing and cracking, as it's called, in gerrymandering, is to break up the power base of communities. So if you're Richland County and you're divided between 3 different assembly seats, you have a lot less say and power in who your assembly person is, because that assembly person doesn't have to listen to the people there because the majority of their votes come from somewhere else. If you're Tony Kurtz, you can lose Richland Center and still win in Reedsburg in particular and Monroe and win that seat. How do I know that? Because in 2008, I ran for the 50th Assembly seat, and I won Richland Center overwhelmingly, but lost the race to Ed Brooks in Reedsburg. So it's very possible for a legislator to ignore a place like Richland Center or Richland County because that's not where your votes come from, or the majority of your votes. So Tom's absolutely right. This lessens the power of places like Richland Center and Richland County, and that's why we need more fair maps. That's why we got Janet Protasewicz, and hopefully next year we'll have better maps. Back with Hour 3 after this. This is the Todd Albaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a